My child, I want to speak to you about the tiredness you keep explaining away. I want to speak to you about the exhaustion you have learned to rename, the heaviness you keep calling responsibility, the weariness you keep pushing into the background as though it has no right to be heard. I have watched you keep moving when your body was asking you to slow down. I have watched you smile while something inside you was sinking. I have watched you say, "I am fine," when your shoulders were tight, your breathing was shallow, your eyes were heavy, and your heart was quietly saying, "I cannot keep carrying this the same way." This tiredness is not just an inconvenience. It is not merely a bad night of sleep. It is not only a busy week, a demanding season, or a schedule that got a little too full. There are times when your body begins to speak because your soul has been ignored for too long. The heavy eyes, the tight jaw, the tense shoulders, the headaches that come when you finally stop, the irritability that surprises you, the numbness that makes you wonder why you cannot feel what you used to feel, the deep sighs you release without realizing it, all of it has been asking for your attention, not to shame you, not to accuse you, not to tell you that you are weak, but to tell you the truth. You have become skilled at pushing through. You have learned how to keep functioning while depleted. You have learned how to answer messages, meet needs, make decisions, show up, handle tasks, and carry burdens while something within you is quietly running empty. And because people praised your endurance, you began to confuse depletion with devotion. Because others depended on you, you began to call exhaustion love. Because stopping felt impossible, you began to call collapse strength. But my child, collapse is not the same as strength. Numbness is not the same as peace. Constant motion is not the same as faithfulness. And pretending you are fine is not the same as trusting me. If this already feels personal, if you can feel these words touching a place you have not known how to name, like this video, as a small agreement with the truth I am bringing into the light, subscribe for daily God-centered encouragement, because I want my words to meet you not only in crisis, but in the ordinary places where your heart needs to be steadied. And share this with someone whose body has been carrying too much in silence. Someone who keeps saying they are okay while their whole being is asking for mercy. Then type in the comments, "Lord, I receive the rest you are calling me into." Let that be more than a sentence. Let it be the beginning of surrender. I am not here to condemn you for being tired. Hear me clearly. I am not disappointed in you because your body has limits. I am not frustrated with you because your mind needs quiet, because your emotions need space, because your nervous system cannot live forever in urgency. I made you with limits, and I did not make those limits to humiliate you. I made them to protect you. I made them to remind you that you are not the source of your own life. You are held, you are sustained. You are not meant to carry everything without receiving from me. Your body has not been betraying you. It has been warning you. It has been telling you that your soul needs rest, surrender, and divine care. It has been saying, slow down before hardness replaces tenderness. It has been saying, come back before busyness buries your peace. It has been saying, you were not created to live, braced, guarded, rushed, and constantly available. And beneath all those signals, I have been lovingly getting your attention. So today, stop punishing yourself for the warning. Stop despising the messenger. Stop treating your tiredness as proof that you are failing. Your exhaustion may be the very place where I am calling you back to me. Not with anger, not with rejection, not with a harsh command to do more, but with the gentle invitation to stop pretending, to stop performing, to stop proving, and to let me care for the parts of you that have been carrying too much for too long. And I know what rises in you when I say the word rest. I know the guilt that comes quickly. I know the shame that tries to sit on your chest. I know the urgency that begins speaking before my peace has room to be received. I know the fear that if you stop, someone will misunderstand you. If you slow down, someone will judge you. If you admit you are tired, someone will think less of you. I know the way rest has become emotionally expensive for you, as though every moment of stillness must be defended, justified, explained, or paid for with extra effort later. But hear me with tenderness, and hear me with authority. Rest is not weakness. Rest is not laziness. Rest is not spiritual failure. Rest is not abandonment of your responsibilities. Rest is not proof that you do not care. Rest is not evidence that your faith has become small. Rest is not a sign that you are less devoted, less useful, less loving, or less worthy. Rest is not the opposite of obedience. Rest is not the enemy of purpose. Rest is not something you must feel guilty for needing. Rest is part of the way I designed you to remain whole. The voice in your head says, "If I stop, everything will fall apart." I have heard that voice. I have heard it. The voice says, "If I sleep, I am already behind." The voice says, "If I pause, I am disappointing people." The voice says, "If I take time to breathe, someone else will suffer because I was not available." The voice says, "Keep going, keep answering, keep proving, keep carrying, keep producing, because your worth depends on staying useful." But that voice did not come from my heart. That voice does not carry my tenderness. That voice does not understand my kingdom. It has learned pressure and called it wisdom. It has learned fear and called it responsibility. It has learned exhaustion and called it faithfulness. I did not design your body as a machine. I did not create you to run endlessly without receiving, without sleeping, without stopping, without quiet, without delight, without restoration. A machine may be measured by output, but my child is not. A machine may be valued by efficiency, but you are not. I do not love you according to your productivity. I do not come close to you only when you have completed enough, handled enough, served enough, endured enough, or achieved enough. You were mine before you could perform anything. You were loved before you could prove anything. You were held before you could help anyone else. This is why rest feels like a battle for you. It is not because rest is wrong. It is because rest confronts the lie that you are sustained by control. Rest confronts the lie that everything depends on your constant availability. Rest confronts the lie that love means having no limits, that faithfulness means having no needs, that strength means never admitting you are worn down. And I am bringing that lie into the light because I do not want my children living as though they must earn permission to be human. Rest is not the opposite of faith. Rest is one of the clearest ways a tired heart practices trust. When you stop, you are saying, "I am not God." When you sleep, you are saying, "My life is held by someone greater than my effort." When you pause, you are saying, "I trust you to sustain what I cannot touch right now." When you lay down what you have been clutching, even for a little while, you are declaring that my faithfulness does not end where your strength ends. And I know this is difficult for the part of you that has survived by staying alert. I know it is difficult for the part of you that learned to avoid criticism by doing more than anyone asked. I know it is difficult for the part of you that feels safest when everything is managed, monitored, and controlled. But I am not asking for performance from a depleted child. I am not standing over you with a list, demanding more from the places that are already empty. I am inviting a worn-down child to come close. Come close without proving. Come close without pretending. Come close without bringing me a finished version of yourself. Come close with your tired body, your anxious thoughts, your guilty feelings, your unfinished tasks, your fear of being judged, and your deep need to be restored. I am not offended by your need for rest. I made you to need me. I made you to receive. I made you to live from communion, not collapse. So let the shame loosen its grip. Let the accusation lose its authority. Let the inner voice be answered by my voice. You may rest and still be faithful. You may pause and still be loving. You may sleep and still be held. You may stop and still be safe. Your responsibilities are real, but they are not your God. Your calling is real, but it was never meant to consume your humanity. Your love for others is real, but love that never receives will eventually become burdened, brittle, and afraid. Type in the comments, "I trust you to sustain what I release." Let that declaration confront the fear that has been driving you. Let it rise up against the guilt that has been training you. Let it become a new sentence in your spirit. I trust you to sustain what I release. I trust you to hold what I cannot carry tonight. I trust you to care for what I must lay down. My child, this is faith too. Not only the faith that moves forward, but the faith that stops. Not only the faith that serves, but the faith that receives. Not only the faith that works, but the faith that rests in me. And now I want you to understand why this has felt so hard. I want you to see the system that trained you, because when you can see it clearly, you can stop calling its pressure my voice. The world you live in has been discipling you every day. It has been teaching you a measuring system that did not come from me. It has been teaching you to measure your worth by what you complete, what you fix, what you earn, what you produce, what you carry, what you answer, what you manage, and how much you can endure without needing help. It has been teaching you that a full calendar means you are important, a long list means you are valuable, an exhausted body means you are dedicated, and an empty space on the calendar means something is wrong. But that measuring system is false. It is false even when everyone around you bows to it. It is false even when it rewards you. It is false even when people praise you for living under it. The world may applaud your overextension, but applause is not the same as peace. The world may reward your constant availability, but reward is not the same as restoration. The world may call you strong when you are quietly breaking, but I do not call breaking strength. I see beneath the performance. I see beneath the pace. I see the child who has learned to feel guilty whenever life is not filled to the edges. This is how spiritual confusion begins. A full calendar starts to feel like worth. An empty evening starts to feel like failure. A quiet morning starts to feel suspicious. A slower pace starts to feel irresponsible. You begin to believe that if there is space, you must fill it. If there is silence, you must explain it. If there is margin, you must surrender it to the next urgent thing. And little by little, you stop asking whether your life is being lived in communion with me, and you start asking whether your life looks productive enough to be defensible. My child, that confusion did not come from my spirit. I do not measure your life by how crowded it appears. I do not measure your faith by how little sleep you can survive on. I do not measure your love by how quickly you answer every request. I do not measure your devotion by how often you ignore the needs of your own body. The world taught you to answer immediately. The world taught you to be reachable at all times. The world taught you that delayed response is neglect, that boundaries are selfish, that quiet is something you must apologize for, that sleep is for people who are less committed, and that rest must be earned after you have finished everything. But there will always be more to finish. There will always be another message, another demand, another bill, another task, another need, another person with an expectation, another reason to postpone restoration. If you wait until everything is done before you rest, you will live as though rest is a reward that never arrives. And I did not design rest to be a prize at the end of your usefulness. I designed rest to be a rhythm that sustains your humanity while you walk with me. Hear me clearly. The pressure to always keep going did not come from me. The pressure to prove your worth by depletion did not come from me. The pressure to be everywhere, answer everyone, hold everything, fix everything, and need nothing did not come from me. I built limits into your body as protection, not as punishment. I gave you a body that becomes tired so you would know when to return. I gave you a mind that needs quiet so you would not live forever in noise. I gave you emotions that need room so your heart would not become buried under duty. I gave you breath, hunger, sleep, tears, and the need for stillness because you were never created to be disembodied productivity. You are not a spirit trapped inside a machine. You are my beloved creation, fearfully and wonderfully made, and every part of you matters to me. Look at the pattern I placed into creation. I did not begin the world with endless striving. I created, I ordered, I blessed, I called it good, and I rested. I stopped. Not because I was depleted, not because my strength had run out, not because creation needed me to recover from weakness. I rested to establish a rhythm. I rested to reveal completion. I rested to show delight. I rested to teach my creation that life is not only made holy by movement, but also by stopping in trust, receiving what has been given, and beholding what I have called good. The world tells you that stopping means falling behind. I showed you that stopping can mean recognizing what is complete for today. The world tells you that delight is wasted time. I showed you that delight belongs inside the rhythm of life. The world tells you that limits are obstacles to greatness. I tell you limits are guardrails for love. Without limits, love becomes frantic. Without limits, service becomes resentment. Without limits, responsibility becomes fear wearing a holy name. Without limits, you begin to carry what I never assigned to you, and then you wonder why your body trembles under the weight. I know you have been trained. I know you did not learn this pressure in one day. You learned it through praise when you pushed past exhaustion. You learned it through criticism when you needed rest. You learned it through comparison, through urgency, through survival, through being needed before you were nurtured, through environments where slowing down was treated like weakness. I know the training has gone deep. I know that even when your body asks for rest, your mind argues. I know that even when your soul longs for stillness, guilt starts speaking. I know. But I am retraining you now. I am teaching you to listen without shame. I am teaching you to honor the limits you were taught to ignore. I am teaching you that your body's need for rest is not rebellion against your calling. It is part of how I preserve you for the calling. I am teaching you that margin is not wasted space. It is sacred room. I am teaching you that quiet is not emptiness. It is where you become able to hear again. So when the old training says, keep going, I want you to pause and ask whose voice is speaking. When the guilt says, you have not done enough to rest, I want you to remember that I gave rest before you could earn anything. When the fear says, everything depends on you, I want you to return to the truth that I am God and you are held. The world trained you to ignore what I designed you to honor, but my voice is calling you back. Back to rhythm, back to trust, back to the mercy of being human in my hands. And now I want you to listen more closely to the place you have been tempted to ignore. I want you to listen to your body without contempt, without fear, without immediately trying to silence it, so you can return to the pace that wounded it. Your body has been speaking, my child. It has been speaking in tightness in your chest when another demand appears. It has been speaking in the clenched jaw you do not notice until pain has already settled there. It has been speaking in restless sleep, in waking tired, in the stomach tension that arrives before the conversation, before the obligation, before the day has even begun. It has been speaking in recurring sickness, in brain fog, in the sudden tears that come when nothing dramatic has happened but everything has been too much for too long. Do not despise those signals. Do not call them interruptions to your spiritual life. Do not treat them as inconveniences that must be conquered before you can be close to me. I formed your body with tenderness. I shaped you with wisdom. I did not place you inside a body as punishment. I did not make your body an enemy of your soul. I did not design your nervous system, your hunger, your need for sleep, your tears, your breath, your limits, and then become angry when they ask to be honored. The signals inside you are not shameful. They are not worthless. They are not beneath my attention. I made you embodied, and I meet you there too. There are truths your mind has been too afraid to admit, and your body has been telling them anyway. Your mind says, I am fine, but your chest says, I am overwhelmed. Your mind says, I can handle it, but your sleep says, I am afraid. Your mind says, it is not that much, but your stomach says, I am carrying too much. Your mind says, I do not need anyone, but the tears say, I need help. Your mind says, keep going, but your body says, please come back to mercy. And I want you to understand this without panic and without exaggeration. Your body is not giving you every answer, but it is often telling you where attention is needed. It is inviting you to care, to wisdom, to sleep, to nourishment, to honest conversation, to prayer that includes your whole self, and when needed, to wise help from those who can care for your health with skill. I am not asking you to spiritualize everything in a way that makes you neglect practical care. That is not faith. Faith does not ignore the need for sleep and call it sacrifice. Faith does not refuse help and call it strength. Faith does not mistreat the body and call it devotion. I can meet you through prayer, and I can meet you through rest. I can strengthen you by my spirit, and I can also guide you toward rhythms, boundaries, counsel, medical attention, nutrition, movement, silence, and the simple holy humility of saying, I need help. These are not enemies of trust. They can become expressions of trust when you receive them from my hand. The body is not an obstacle to spiritual life. It is often the place where I reveal what the soul can no longer hide. When you are constantly strained, prayer can begin to feel hard, not because you no longer love me, but because your whole system is weary. Patience can feel thin, not because you have become cruel, but because you have been pouring out without receiving. Hope can feel distant, not because I have moved away, but because exhaustion has covered your inner sight like a heavy fog. Even worship can feel difficult when your body is running on fear, when your breathing is shallow, when your mind is scattered, when your heart has not had space to grieve, release, or be replenished. So, stop accusing yourself for what depletion has made difficult. Stop saying, I should be more spiritual, when what you may need is rest, honesty, care, and a gentler pace with me. Stop calling yourself faithless, because prayer feels heavy when your body is crying out for restoration. I am not standing far from you, measuring how eloquent your prayers sound while you are exhausted. I am near to the sigh. I am near to the wordless, reaching. I am near to the body that trembles, the eyes that fill with tears, the hands that do not know what to hold anymore. I know how to hear prayers that come through breath. I know how to receive surrender that has no polished language. My child, I am not angry at your body for needing rest. I am not angry that you have limits. I am not angry that your hands cannot hold everything, that your mind cannot process endlessly, that your heart cannot absorb every burden without care. I am calling you to stop treating your body like an enemy you must defeat. Stop punishing it for being honest. Stop forcing it to carry the cost of lies you were never meant to obey. Your body has been trying to return you to truth. It has been saying, you are not infinite. It has been saying, you are not abandoned. It has been saying, come back to the one who sustains you. So today, let the tightness be noticed without shame. Let the tears come without apology. Let the fog tell you that you need light, quiet, and care. Let the fatigue remind you that you were made to receive, not only to give. Put a hand over your chest, even now, and breathe more slowly. Let your jaw soften. Let your shoulders drop. Let your body know it no longer has to shout to be heard. I am teaching you to listen with compassion. I am teaching you to honor what I have made. I am teaching you that the soul is not healed by despising the body, but by bringing the whole self back into my presence. Type in the comments, Lord, teach me to listen without shame. Let that be your declaration over the places you have ignored. Lord, teach me to listen without shame. Teach me to hear the warning before collapse. Teach me to receive care before depletion becomes normal. Teach me to stop calling my body weak when it is telling the truth. My child, your body has been speaking the language of the soul, and I have not despised it. I have been calling you through it, gently, patiently, mercifully, back to rest, back to surrender, back to the sacred truth that you are human, beloved, and held. And now, my child, I want to name the lies that have kept you tired. I want to bring them out of the hidden places where they have been speaking with authority they never deserved. Because freedom begins when you stop obeying the lies that made exhaustion feel righteous. Freedom begins when the old narrator is no longer allowed to call itself wisdom. Freedom begins when the sentence that has been driving you is finally exposed, answered, and replaced by truth. The first lie is this: rest must be earned. The lie says you may rest after everything is finished, after everyone is satisfied, after the house is in order, after the inbox is empty, after the work is complete, after you have proven you deserve to stop. It says, rest is a wage paid to the productive, a reward given only to the disciplined, a permission slip handed to you after enough effort. But I want to dismantle this lie at its foundation. Rest is part of being human before it is a reward for being productive. You did not become worthy of sleep when you completed a task. You did not become worthy of breathing when you pleased someone. You did not become worthy of stillness when the list became shorter. You were made with the need for rest woven into your body, your mind, your emotions, and your soul. Rest is not a trophy for the overworked. It is a rhythm for the beloved. So when the lie says, you have not done enough to rest, answer it with, my truth. Say, I am allowed to receive because I am human, not because I have performed perfectly. Say, my body does not need to collapse before it receives care. Say, I will not wait until I am empty to return to the one who fills me. This is not advice only. This is deliverance from the voice that has been making you apologize for having limits. The second lie is this: everyone needs me constantly. This lie sounds noble at first. It wears the clothing of love. It tells you that being available without end is the highest form of faithfulness. It tells you that if you do not answer, carry, fix, manage, rescue, anticipate, and hold everything together, then you are failing the people you love. But hear me clearly. You are loved. You are useful. You are called. You matter in the lives of others. Your presence is a gift. Your service is meaningful. But you are not God. You are not the source. You are not the Savior. You are not the one who holds the universe together by the word of your power. There is humility in admitting this. There is peace in admitting this. There is worship in admitting this. When you try to be constantly needed, your soul begins to carry a throne it was never meant to sit on. Love becomes anxiety. Service becomes control. Responsibility becomes fear. But when you remember that I am God, you can love without trying to replace me. You can serve without losing yourself. You can be present without being everywhere. You can care deeply and still sleep. You can say yes with sincerity and no with peace. You can release people into my hands and trust that my hands are not smaller than yours. The third lie is this: if I stop, I will fall behind. I know how convincing this lie feels. I know the pressure of unfinished things. I know the ache of responsibilities that do not disappear simply because you are tired. I know that some seasons are demanding, and some burdens are real, and some tasks cannot be ignored, but the lie has taken a real concern and turned it into a cruel master. It says every pause is danger, every breath is delay, every moment of stillness is failure. It says if you stop now, life will outrun you and you will never catch up. But my truth is this: some things may wait, but your restoration cannot be postponed forever. Some messages can wait. Some tasks can wait. Some expectations can wait. Some rooms can remain imperfect for another day. Some plans can move more slowly. But a soul that is always postponed becomes buried. A body that is always ignored becomes louder. A heart that is always deferred becomes weary in places that simple sleep cannot quickly repair. I am not asking you to be careless. I am asking you to stop treating your restoration as the least important thing in your life. You cannot keep sacrificing what sustains you and expect peace to remain strong within you. The fourth lie is this: tiredness is just normal. The lie says everyone is exhausted, everyone is overwhelmed, everyone is running on fumes, everyone is anxious, everyone is stretched too thin, so do not make a big deal out of it. It says this is just adulthood, this is just ministry, this is just parenting, this is just work, this is just life. But common does not always mean healthy, and familiar does not always mean holy. Just because many people are depleted does not mean depletion is my design. Just because exhaustion has become socially acceptable does not mean it has become spiritually fruitful. Just because you have lived this way for a long time does not mean you were created to stay there. I want you to stop normalizing what is slowly numbing you. I want you to stop calling chronic depletion maturity. I want you to stop calling constant tension responsibility. I want you to stop calling emotional emptiness strength. There is a tiredness that comes from faithful labor, and I meet you there with refreshment. But there is also a tiredness that comes from living outside the rhythm I gave you, obeying expectations I never placed on you, and carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. I am not shaming you for being tired. I am inviting you to discern what kind of tiredness this is, and to let truth interrupt what has become familiar. The fifth lie is this: God is only pleased when I am doing something. This lie has wounded many of my children. It has made stillness feel suspicious and silence feel empty. It has made sleep feel unspiritual and receiving feel passive. It has taught you to imagine that I am nearest when you are performing, serving, striving, producing, and pushing, but distant when you are lying down, breathing slowly, weeping quietly, or simply being held. My child, this lie does not know my heart. I meet my children in stillness. I meet my children in sleep. I meet my children in silence. I meet my children in receiving. I am not only present in the moment of assignment, I am present in the moment of restoration. I am not only pleased when your hands are busy, I am also pleased when your heart turns toward me with no offering except need. I am not only glorified by your movement, I am glorified when you trust me enough to stop. When you lie down in peace, you are not leaving my presence. You are entering another kind of dependence. When you sit quietly and let your soul breathe, you are not wasting time. You are making room to remember that I am God. So, let these lies lose their authority. Let the old narrator grow weaker. Let the voice that demanded endless effort be answered by the voice of the one who made you. Rest does not have to be earned. You are not God. Falling behind is not worse than falling apart. Common exhaustion is not the same as holy living. And I am not only pleased with you when you are doing something. Type in the comments, I renounce the lies that kept me exhausted. Let that declaration become a line in the sand. I renounce the lies that kept me exhausted. I receive the truth that makes room for rest. I receive the mercy that calls me back to rhythm. I receive the freedom to stop obeying shame and start listening to my Father's voice. And now I want you to look at Jesus, because Jesus shows you what holiness looks like inside a human body. He shows you what obedience looks like when it has skin, hunger, weariness, tears, breath, sleep, and limits. He did not come among you pretending to be untouched by human need. He did not heal the world by abandoning his humanity. He entered fully into the life of the body, and in that body, he walked with purpose, loved with compassion, carried sorrow, poured out power, withdrew into lonely places, prayed through the night, ate with his friends, slept in a boat, and invited tired disciples to come away and rest for a while. Look closely, my child. Jesus was not careless with the needs around him. He was moved with compassion. He touched the untouchable. He fed the hungry. He welcomed the overlooked. He stopped for the crying, the desperate, the bleeding, the grieving, the ashamed. His heart was not hard. His love was not distant. But his compassion was not controlled by every crowd's demand at every moment. He did not allow urgency to become his master. He did not confuse noise with assignment. He did not let every expectation define the Father's will for that hour. There were crowds looking for him, and still he withdrew. There were needs everywhere, and still he prayed. There were people who wanted more from him, and still he moved according to the Father's voice. There were moments when everyone seemed to be searching for him, and he did not simply return to the place of demand because demand was loud. He said there were other places he must go. He lived from communion, not from pressure. He lived from obedience, not from panic. He lived from the Father's will, not from the endless appetite of human expectation. Hear this clearly. Not every need is your assignment for this exact hour. Not every request is a command from me. Not every interruption has authority over your peace. Not every urgent voice is carrying my instruction. Some needs are real, but they are not yours to carry. Some needs are important, but they are not for this moment. Some needs are painful to release, but they must be placed in my hands because you are not the Savior. Jesus knew what it was to love deeply without being driven by fear. He knew what it was to be available to the Father without being enslaved to every demand. And I want you to see him asleep in the storm. The wind was loud, the waves were violent, the boat was being shaken. Those around him were afraid, and the environment looked like danger, but Jesus slept. He did not sleep because he was indifferent. He did not sleep because the disciples did not matter. He did not sleep because the storm was imaginary. He slept because his trust was deeper than the noise around him. His rest was not denial. His rest was confidence. His body was still while the storm was loud, because he was held in the Father's care even before he stood up and spoke peace to the wind. Some of you have believed that if the environment is loud, you must be frantic. If people are afraid, you must be afraid. If waves are rising, you must stop sleeping, stop breathing, stop receiving, and become the anxious guardian of everything around you. But Jesus shows another way. He shows a trust that does not panic simply because circumstances are intense. He shows a peace that is not dependent on quiet surroundings. He shows that rest can exist even before the storm has stopped, because rest is rooted in the Father, not in perfect conditions. My child, if the Son honored rhythms of withdrawal and communion, why do you think you must prove devotion through constant depletion? If Jesus prayed in lonely places, why do you apologize for needing quiet? If Jesus slept in the boat, why do you condemn your body for needing sleep? If Jesus invited his disciples to come away and rest, why do you keep calling rest selfish when he called it necessary? Holy purpose and holy rest are not enemies. Obedience and withdrawal are not enemies. Compassion and boundaries are not enemies. Ministry and sleep are not enemies. Love and limits are not enemies. The pattern has been shown to you. You are not more faithful than Jesus when you ignore your exhaustion. You are not more devoted than Jesus when you refuse stillness. You are not more spiritual than Jesus when you push past the Father's rhythm in order to answer every human expectation. Devotion is not measured by how much of your humanity you can suppress. Devotion is measured by whether you remain surrendered to me in movement and in stillness, in serving and in stopping, in pouring out and in receiving. So let Jesus correct the false image of holiness you have been carrying. Let him show you that a holy life has hidden places of prayer. Let him show you that a faithful life has pauses. Let him show you that a compassionate life can still withdraw. Let him show you that a surrendered life does not treat every crowd as Lord. Let him show you that rest is not the abandonment of purpose, but the protection of communion. And now I am bringing you deeper. I am not only giving you permission to rest, I am using rest as a place of healing. I am using rest to restore what pressure has scattered. I am using rest to bring clarity where exhaustion has created confusion. I am using rest to reorder what urgency has disordered. Come away with me, not as an escape from faithfulness, but as the place where faithfulness is restored. Type in the comments, Jesus, teach me your rhythm. Let that be your declaration. Jesus, teach me your rhythm. Teach me to withdraw without guilt. Teach me to serve without striving. Teach me to rest without shame. Teach me to trust the Father in the storm, and to remember that I do not have to abandon my humanity to follow the Holy One. And this is why rest may feel strange to you at first, my child, because rest is not simply the absence of activity. Rest is not merely sitting down while your mind keeps running. Rest is not endless scrolling that leaves your soul more scattered than before. Rest is not numbing yourself so you do not have to feel what has been waiting beneath the surface. Rest is not collapsing on the couch with your body still tense, your thoughts still racing, your heart still bracing, and your spirit still trying to manage tomorrow before today has even ended. I want to teach you the difference between escape and restoration. Escape helps you avoid what is inside you for a little while. Restoration allows me to touch what is inside you with mercy. Numbing makes you less aware. Rest makes you more safely aware in my presence. Distraction delays the ache. Rest brings the ache into the light where it can begin to heal. Collapsing may be what your body does when it has been pushed too far, and I am compassionate toward that too. But genuine rest is deeper than collapse. Genuine rest is stopping. Genuine rest is releasing. Genuine rest is breathing. Genuine rest is receiving. Genuine rest is allowing me to come near to the places that constant motion has kept covered. Because busyness has buried things in you, my child. It has buried grief you never had time to name. It has buried fear you kept calling responsibility. It has buried disappointment you did not want to admit because you thought admitting it would make you ungrateful. It has buried resentment that formed when you kept saying yes while your heart was quietly asking for care. It has buried unanswered prayers that still ache when the room grows quiet. It has buried decisions you rushed past, emotions you postponed, conversations you avoided, and the simple awareness of my nearness that got covered beneath noise, obligation, hurry, and survival. This is why quiet can feel uncomfortable in the beginning, not because quiet is dangerous, but because quiet tells the truth. Noise helped you avoid what needed attention. Hurry helped you outrun what needed compassion. Productivity helped you feel in control while deeper questions remained untouched. So when you finally stop, when the phone is set down, when the room is still, when the demands are no longer filling every inch of your attention, things may rise. Tears may rise. Weariness may rise. Questions may rise. Anger may rise. The ache of what you have carried may rise. And you may be tempted to say, "This is why I cannot rest." But hear me clearly. What rises in rest is not proof that rest is failing. It is often proof that healing has begun. Exposure is not punishment. Revelation is not rejection. The surfacing of pain does not mean I am harming you. It means I am no longer letting what wounded you remain buried without care. I do not uncover to shame you. I uncover to heal you. I do not bring hidden grief into the light so you can be condemned by it. I bring it into the light so you can stop carrying it alone. I am gentle with what you have hidden. I am patient with what you could not process. I am kind toward the parts of you that learned to keep moving because stopping once felt unsafe. When I restore your soul, I do not do it by demanding more from your soul. I do not restore you by driving you harder, frightening you deeper, or placing heavier burdens on already tired places. I restore your soul like a shepherd. I lead you beside still waters. I make room for your breathing to slow. I bring you to green pastures where receiving is not called laziness. I quiet the inner demand that says, "You must earn my tenderness." I help you lie down, not because everything is finished, but because you are held by the one who remains faithful while unfinished things still exist. There are places in you that cannot be restored in constant motion. There are wounds that cannot be tended while you are always rushing to the next thing. There are truths you will not hear while every silence is filled. There are prayers that will only rise when you stop performing and let yourself be honest before me. Rest is sacred space. It is not empty time. It is not wasted time. It is the room where I gather what busyness scattered. It is the room where I soften what pressure hardened. It is the room where I separate your true assignment from the demands that attach themselves to your fear. It is the room where I remind you that you are not only useful to me, you are loved by me. So do not be afraid of the quiet simply because it reveals. Let it reveal in my presence. Let the grief be grief with me. Let the disappointment speak honestly before me. Let the resentment be confessed without pretending. Let the unanswered prayers sit in my hands without forcing them into easy explanations. Let the decisions you rushed past become places where wisdom can return. Let your soul notice me again, not as an idea far away, but as the God who is near, near to the weary, near to the brokenhearted, near to the one who has been functioning while quietly fading. And now I want you to understand what I am preparing you for. Restoration cannot live only as an emotional agreement. It needs protected space. It needs time that is not constantly surrendered back to urgency. It needs boundaries around the quiet. It needs moments where you do not apologize for being unavailable to noise, so you can become available to me. If you say yes to rest in your heart but never make room for it in your life, the same current will keep carrying you back into depletion. So I am not only comforting you, I am teaching you to protect the place where restoration happens. Type in the comments, Lord, restore what busyness has buried. Let that be your declaration. Lord, restore what busyness has buried. Restore the grief I rushed past. Restore the peace I have not been able to feel. Restore the awareness of your nearness beneath the noise. Teach me to stop without escaping, to be still without fear, to receive without guilt, and to let your gentle care reach the places my constant motion has covered. Rest is where I restore you, my child. Rest is where what was buried begins to breathe again. And now, my child, I want to move you from agreement into practice, because it is possible to feel comforted by truth and still return to the same rhythm that wounded you. It is possible to weep when you hear that rest is holy, and then wake up tomorrow and hand your first breath back to pressure. It is possible to believe in your mind that I am inviting you into restoration, while your body continues living under the old command. Hurry, 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 prove, 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 carry, carry, carry. So I am not only speaking peace over you, I am forming a new rhythm in you. This is not a temporary escape from your life. This is not a brief moment of relief before you go back to being consumed. This is not a little spiritual pause meant to help you survive the same disorder without changing anything. I am teaching you a pattern. I am retraining the way you begin, the way you move, the way you transition, the way you end, and the way you receive. I am teaching your body that it does not have to brace every moment. I am teaching your mind that it does not have to solve everything at once. I am teaching your soul that trust is not only a sentence you say, but a rhythm you practice until it becomes more familiar than fear. Begin with the morning, my child, before the phone, before the messages, before the news, before the demands find you, before you allow other voices to enter the room of your attention. Pause with me. It does not have to be long at first. Do not turn even this into a performance. Do not make the morning pause another heavy assignment that you use to judge yourself. Start with one honest moment. Place your feet on the floor. Let your shoulders lower. Let your jaw soften. Let your breath return to your awareness. Before you ask what must be done today, remember who holds today. Before you measure the weight of the day, remember that you are not carrying it alone. Say to me, Father, I receive this day from your hands. I surrender what I cannot control. I ask you to lead me in what is mine to carry, and to release me from what fear wants me to carry. Let that small prayer become a doorway. Let it interrupt the old instinct to wake up already behind. Let it teach your nervous system that the day does not begin with panic. Let it teach your spirit that you are not thrown into life unattended. You awaken under my mercy. You awaken beneath my care. You awaken as my child before you awaken as a worker, a parent, a leader, a helper, a responder, a solver, or a servant. And then practice transition rest. This is one of the places where many of my children lose peace without noticing. You move from one task to another with no release. You carry one conversation into the next room. You carry one conflict into the next assignment. You carry one email into the next decision. You carry the tone of one difficult moment into the way you speak to someone who did not cause it. Your body never receives the message that one thing has ended before another begins, so everything becomes one long burden with no breath between. I want you to learn the holy pause between things. Before you enter the next room, breathe. Before you answer the next call, release. Before you open the next message, place the last one in my hands. Before you move from work into home, from caregiving into quiet, from conversation into solitude, from service into rest, let there be a small altar of surrender. Say, Lord, I give you what just happened. I receive your grace for what is next. I do not have to carry every moment into every other moment. This is not complicated, but it is powerful. It teaches your body that burdens can be set down. It teaches your mind that attention can be cleansed. It teaches your soul that I am present in the in-between places, not only in the dramatic ones. Then let me teach you evening rest. Do not end the day by dragging every unfinished thing into your bed as if sleep were a courtroom where you must answer for all that remains undone. Close the day with me. Name what remains unfinished, not with shame, but with honesty. Say, Lord, this is what was completed. This is what remains. This is what I do not understand. This is what still feels heavy. This is what I must leave with you tonight. And then, declare this truth over your weary heart. Unfinished work is not an unfinished identity. You are not incomplete because the list is incomplete. You are not a failure because something must wait until tomorrow. You are not less loved because the room is not perfect. The answer is not ready. The plan is not finished. The problem is not solved. There will almost always be something unfinished in a human life. But you can sleep because I am not unfinished. You can rest because my faithfulness does not end when your strength ends. You can lie down because the world is not held together by your constant consciousness. Evening rest is worship when you place the remains of the day in my hands and trust that I am God through the night. And then protect weekly rest, not as another project, not as another aesthetic, not as another performance where you must create the perfect quiet day, the perfect spiritual atmosphere, the perfect meal, the perfect family memory, the perfect devotional experience. No, my child. Let weekly rest be real. Let it include worship. Let it include quiet. Let it include nourishment. Let it include relationships that help your soul breathe. Let it include space where you are not producing, proving, managing, and measuring. Protect a real block of time where your life remembers that you are not a machine and your worth is not maintained by output. Some of you will need to start smaller than you wish. Start there. Protect the first honest pause. Protect the first 10 minutes where you do not reach for noise. Protect the first evening when you close the laptop and leave what remains with me. Protect the first walk where you do not turn it into productivity. Protect the first quiet meal, the first slower morning, the first Sabbath hour, the first moment when you let your body receive what your soul has been needing. Do not despise small beginnings. Repetition is how the old training weakens. Repetition is how your nervous system learns safety. Repetition is how your spirit begins to believe what your mouth has declared. Rest is not passive drifting. It is intentional trust repeated until the soul believes it. It is choosing again and again to stop before collapse, to breathe before panic, to surrender before control hardens, to receive before emptiness becomes your normal. I am forming in you a sustainable rhythm of trust, not a momentary escape, but a way of living with me. Type in the comments, Lord, teach me a new rhythm. Let that be your declaration. Lord, teach me a new rhythm. Teach me to begin with you, to transition with surrender, to end the day in trust, and to protect the rest where restoration grows. And now we must come to the deepest resistance, my child, because underneath the guilt, underneath the hurry, underneath the habit of always moving, there is often a fear you have not fully spoken. The fear says, if I stop, something will fall apart. If I rest, someone will be disappointed. If I step back, the finances will unravel, the children will suffer, The relationship will weaken, the opportunity will pass, the plan will collapse, the future will slip beyond my reach. The fear says, your constant strain is the only wall standing between your life and disaster. I know this fear. I have heard it in your thoughts when the room is quiet. I have heard it when you lie down and your mind begins listing everything that could go wrong. I have heard it when your body is exhausted but your hand still reaches for the phone, the message, the task, the problem, the person, the update, because you are afraid that release will become loss. You have called it responsibility. Sometimes it has been responsibility, but sometimes, my child, it has been fear dressed in responsible language. Sometimes it has been control wearing the clothing of care. Sometimes it has been anxiety convincing you that love requires constant access to you. Hear me with tenderness and with truth. Some things may wait when you obey my rhythm. Some messages may not be answered immediately. Some tasks may be delayed. Some people may not understand. Some expectations may have to be disappointed. Some systems that depended on your depletion may resist your healing. Some voices may question why you are not available in the same exhausted way you once were. This is real. I will not pretend that boundaries cost nothing. I will not tell you that everyone will applaud your obedience when your obedience interrupts their access to your overextension. But the cost of never resting is not smaller than the cost of rest. It has only been quieter. It has cost you peace. It has cost you tenderness. It has cost you clarity. It has cost you presence. It has cost you the ability to hear me without the noise of panic. It has cost your body. It has cost your sleep. It has cost your joy. It has cost the soft places in you that were never meant to live under constant demand. So when I teach you to say no, I am not making you selfish. I am teaching you obedience. I am teaching you stewardship of the life I entrusted to you. I am teaching you to protect what I am restoring. A boundary is not a wall against love. A holy boundary is a gate through which love can remain clean, honest, and surrendered. Saying no to what drains what I am restoring is not rebellion. Saying no to the demand that requires your disobedience is faithfulness. Saying no to the pace that breaks your body is wisdom. Saying no to the expectation that makes you abandon communion with me is not selfishness, it is worship. There are yeses I am asking from you that will require no's from you. Yes to my rhythm. No to the urgency that is not my voice. Yes to restoration. No to the guilt that tries to govern you. Yes to obedience. No to the false savior role you were never created to carry. So bring me the specific burdens now, not the vague weight only. Not the general sentence, Lord, I give you everything, while your hands remain clenched around each piece. Bring me the undone list. Bring me the message you have not answered. Bring me the decision that feels too large. Bring me the bill, the diagnosis, the strained conversation, the child you cannot control, the parent you cannot fix, the friend you cannot rescue, the body that has been aching, the mind that will not settle, the future plan that keeps changing, the outcome that refuses to obey your timeline. Bring me the things that make rest feel dangerous. Place the undone list in my hands. Place the sick body in my hands. Place the anxious mind in my hands. Place the people you cannot fix in my hands. Place the outcomes you cannot control in my hands. What you release to me will not be lost in my hands. I am not careless with what is precious to you. I am not inattentive to what concerns you. I am not asleep over your life. You can sleep because I do not. You can stop because I remain faithful. You can release because I am holding what you cannot hold. Say it slowly, my child. I can rest because you are awake. I can stop because you are faithful. I can release because you are holding what I cannot hold. Say it again until your body begins to hear it. I can rest because you are awake. I can stop because you are faithful. I can release because you are holding what I cannot hold. Let this become more than a sentence. Let it become a settling. Let it move from your mouth into your shoulders, from your thoughts into your breath, from your belief into your nervous system. And now, soften. Let your shoulders lower. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands open, even if only a little. Breathe in as one who is not abandoned. Breathe out as one who is not in control of everything. You do not have to solve tonight what I have only asked you to surrender tonight. You do not have to carry in your body what belongs in my hands. You do not have to stay tense to prove that you care. You do not have to remain available to every demand to prove that you are faithful. I am faithful while you rest. I am present while you sleep. I am working while you recover. I am guarding what you release. I am sustaining what you cannot sustain. So come now, not with a perfect surrender, but with an honest one. Come with the part of you that is afraid to let go. Come with the part of you that still wants to manage the outcome. Come with the tired body, the crowded mind, the trembling faith, the unfinished list, and the quiet hope that maybe you are allowed to stop. Type in the comments, I can release because God is holding what I cannot hold. Let that be your declaration. I can release because God is holding what I cannot hold. And as you release, prepare your heart to pray, because I am near, and my care is present, personal, and strong enough to hold you. So now, my child, let this become prayer. Do not rush past this moment. Do not treat prayer as one more task to complete, one more spiritual thing to perform, one more place where you must sound strong when you are tired. Come as you are. Come with the body that has been speaking. Come with the soul that has been carrying. Come with the mind that has been crowded. Come with the parts of you that are still learning that rest is not a threat. And before you say many words, let your body begin to receive. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue rest. Lower your shoulders, even if they rise again. Soften your hands. Open your palms if you can, not because I require a posture, but because your body has been holding more than it knows. Take one slow breath in, as one who is being cared for. Let it out slowly, as one who does not have to be in control of everything. Again, breathe in, my nearness. Breathe out the strain. Breathe in mercy. Breathe out the need to prove. Let this breath become an act of receiving. Let this stillness become a small altar. Let this moment tell your body, you are safe to stop in the presence of God. Father, I bring you this tired body and this weary soul. I bring you every place where exhaustion has been mistaken for identity. Forgive me for the ways I have called myself strong when I was actually afraid to stop. Forgive me for the ways I ignored the warnings in my body, the tightness, the heaviness, the sleeplessness, the shallow breathing, the constant bracing, the quiet fading. Forgive me for treating my limits as enemies, instead of listening for your wisdom inside them. Forgive me for believing I had to earn permission to rest. Forgive me for letting guilt govern what your love was meant to heal. Restore what has been strained in me. Restore my nervous system where it has lived on alert for too long. Teach my body that it does not have to prepare for danger every moment. Teach my breath to deepen again. Teach my muscles to release. Teach my sleep to become a place of trust and not a battlefield of unfinished thoughts. Restore the nights that have been stolen by worry. Restore the mornings that have begun with dread. Restore the quiet places inside me that have forgotten how to feel safe. Restore my thoughts, Lord. Slow what has been racing. Quiet what has been rehearsing disaster. Untangle what has been confused by pressure. Bring peace to the loops in my mind that keep returning to what I cannot control. Restore my emotions where they have been buried beneath responsibility. Let grief be held. Let fear be comforted. Let anger be honest without ruling me. Let sadness be met by your tenderness. Restore my appetite for what nourishes me, my strength for what is truly mine to carry, and my spiritual sensitivity where hurry has made me numb to your voice. Release me from guilt that does not come from you. Release me from productivity shame. Release me from the fear of disappointing people. Release me from the false belief that everything depends on me. I renounce the lie that I am only valuable when I am useful. I renounce the lie that rest must be earned by exhaustion. I renounce the lie that love requires constant availability. I renounce the lie that if I stop, you will be disappointed in me. My God is not disappointed in my limits. My God designed my limits with wisdom. My God meets me in my weakness with mercy, not contempt. So I declare peace over this body, peace over my shoulders, peace over my jaw, peace over my chest, peace over my stomach, peace over my hands, peace over my breathing, peace over my sleep, peace over my mind, peace over every place in me that has been trying to survive by staying tense. My body can rest. My soul can receive. My God is not disappointed in my limits. Say it again, my child, my body can rest. My soul can receive. My God is not disappointed in my limits. Let that truth move through you slowly. Let it reach the places where shame has been loud. Let it become louder than the old demand to keep proving. And Father, sustain what I release. Hold the people I cannot fix. Hold the outcomes I cannot control. Hold the work that remains unfinished. Hold the future that feels uncertain. Hold the needs that feel larger than my strength. Teach me to rest without abandoning responsibility, and to be responsible without abandoning my humanity. Teach me to trust that your care is present, personal, and sustaining. You are not far from this tired body. You are not impatient with this weary soul. You are here. You are holding me. You are restoring me even now. Type in the comments, "I trust God to restore my body and sustain what I release." Let that be your declaration. I trust God to restore my body and sustain what I release. And if this message has helped your heart receive permission to rest, like this video as an agreement with the truth that God restores the weary. Subscribe for more God-centered encouragement. Share this with someone who has been silently exhausted and needs to remember they are not failing. And leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you as God restores your body, steadies your soul, and teaches you to rest in His faithful hands.